Hey guys, welcome to the Editing Bard, the channel that brings you writing tips that make sense. Today is going to start a new series where we talk about how to create an effective writing process. I'm super excited to get into this with you, where I'm just going to share the stuff that I have learned to be able to help you write your story more effectively. So what is a writing process exactly? Well, it means different things for different people. To me, a writing process is something that helps you establish consistency with your writing. And consistency is king when it comes to writing a book. You need to have a scheduled time to be able to sit down, write, and get into that mindset to write your book. The first thing that I want to talk about today is scheduling. Scheduling time is really, really difficult. When you think about it, we have extremely busy lives. We have plays, we have kids, we have work being probably one of the biggest time suckers that there is. And we have family, we have friends, like we have a life to live. One of the ways scheduling your time out is going to help you is it's going to allow you to get into the mindset of writing. It's going to allow you to prepare to sit down and write. So how does that look? Well, whip out your calendar. What does it look like? Now, I'm not talking about your paper calendar unless you are extremely organized using a paper calendar. I'm talking about your online calendar, typically through Google Docs or whatever you use for work. The point is that you need to open that up and see what time you have available. Hey, anything? Anything at all? No? Yeah. It's hard, right? You have so much stuff taking up your time. Where do you find time to write? You don't. Finding time doesn't exist, because we all have busy lives and there's always going to be something that is more important. It's as simple as that. So what you need to do is you need to make time. You need to have it on the calendar. I'm going to show you kind of step by step my process of how I do that, so that way you know how to do it. Let's check it out.
Okay, so here we're looking at Google Calendars, and this is what I use for my business. Now, this isn't my business calendar. It's a clean slate, so that way I can give you guys an idea of what it's going to look like. So diving into this a little bit, we're going to look at today's date. Now, most of us probably have a pretty crazy schedule, right? Let's just say, you got 9 to 5. That is your work day, 9 to 5. And you're just like, when do I have time again to fit writing into this? This is the hard part. This is where it can be very difficult because we have so many things. Now, it typically doesn't look like this. We usually got, let's say, take kids to school. And then after that, immediately following after that, it's meetings. And then, maybe you work from 11 to 12 and you're doing calls. And then let's say, you got a half an hour for lunchtime right here. Yep, that looks awesome. And you're doing, after that, let's say you're doing email to clients. And so, you're getting the picture here, right? Like, you have so many things on your calendar. Where does writing fit in? This is where it gets difficult for the first 2 weeks. Like I mentioned before, the first 2 weeks, you're just trying to cram it in everywhere you can. So let's say, for instance, you have soccer practice, but you have this 30-minute window right here. Okay, now that 30-minute window is free time, quote unquote free time, right? So you still have maybe a drive time to get to the practice area, or maybe it's close by your house. So really, it's going to be a 10-minute drive time. So you have 20 minutes, right? So what you do is you take that and you actually put something there. You put writing for 20 minutes. See what I mean? So you have something there now. And your goal should be to schedule out your entire day, right? There shouldn't be any time open in this area. It should be 100% blocked out. The key to creating a writing process is that you have to have the time blocked, because if you don't block it, someone or someone else is going to. Now, the other important thing to do when you're scheduling out your time is to color coordinate it, right? So when I do what I call a buffer, and that's typically, I have buffers between every large event that I have. I use this lavender color, okay? And so I would do that for lunch, and I would do that for this. And anytime you have those little in-between things, you want to change the color. Now for the big things, it's like, okay, take kids to school, you just try not to put ones that are super close to the same color together, just so that way it's not confusing. So you can kind of see now that it's much more attractive. It's more eye-catching. It's not just this solid blue blob on the calendar. Now, between these up here, you notice that I don't have any buffers. Ideally, you want to build in that time. You want to have like that 15 to 30 minutes. I recommend 30, but if you only have 15 minutes, like do that. Schedule it on this end of things before you take that. It's prep kids to leave. You're not now trying to get them out the door, get them ready at 9. You're now starting at 8:30. You see where I'm going with this? Like, it's you build your schedule. You don't let the schedule build itself, because when it's itself, you're going to be looking at something more like this. You're going to be looking at something more like this, and these times in between, there's no buffer. There's no, it's not free time. It's unscheduled time. You don't know what you're doing. You're likely to get distracted, procrastinate. You're not going to get into the mindset. 30 minutes beforehand, you could be prep kids for soccer. So you're actually preparing for that time with them to get them ready to go to soccer. Make sure that when you're doing that, take that time, set aside time for your family, set aside time for your friends, but build it into your calendar and do so for each week, right? You just go out farther and farther and you just keep going. So that is my helpful tips for you in terms of scheduling. If you have any tips or hints on how you do it, I'd love to hear it down in the comments below.
Now that you have an idea of what it looks like to kind of schedule out that time, you block it out, you have a buffer. The key part of that is that the first 2 weeks are probably going to be the hardest time, because you really are just finding the time. You're making it 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, wherever you can fit it in. But if you're scheduling 3, 4, 5 weeks out, guess what? There's probably going to be less on your calendar. Now, if you're working in a corporate job, you're going to have stuff that's scheduled pretty far out in advance. But your average person typically is not going to have as much out that far. So what do? You schedule. You get it on the calendar. You dictate when, where, and how you write. This is so important. My recommendation to you this week is take some time and block out that time for your writing. Because if you are serious about writing, then you need to make the time. If writing is a passion of yours and you want it to turn it into something that is going to help you provide for your family, have some residual income, then you need to treat it with the respect that it deserves. Make the time this week, wherever you can, and for the next week, and then the next week, and then the next week. And what you'll notice is that your lifestyle is going to start changing and fluctuating, and you're going to be building it around your writing time. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If so, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. That way you get updated when I'm going live or when I am uploading new videos. I hope you have a great week writing, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.